Welcome back to another video. Today we're diving into the Square Enix, Final Fantasy 16, and Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, and what recent sales data is telling us about the future of this legendary franchise. Now, just to be clear, this isn't about hating on these games. They're not bad RPGs by any means. The core audience loves it. I love it. But there's a deeper story unfolding here that speaks to major shifts at Square Enix. So let's dive into it. Square Enix recently shared their financial report, and here's what they had to say. In their HD Games division, which includes titles like Final Fantasy 16 and Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, profits didn't meet expectations. Hear this out. Profits didn't meet expectations. For context, their net sales increased to around 99 billion yen, but here's the catch. They recorded an 8 billion yen operating loss, which actually widened compared to previous periods despite major releases like Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth and Foam Stars. So what does this mean? It's not that these games aren't selling. They are pretty much selling, but the return on investment isn't where Square Enix needs it to be. Essentially, they're not seeing the profits that they are expecting from a massive budget. And something like Final Fantasy VII Remake, Rebirth, Final Fantasy 16 have big major budgets. Now, to understand why this is such a big deal, you need to know where Square Enix is coming from now. Back in the day, Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9, 10, even 12 were all massive hits. Even 12, yes, were all massive hits. They all sold incredibly well on just one platform. No multi-console releases, and without the giant development budgets we see today. But here's where the problem starts. The older games sold better while costing less to make. Now Square Enix is investing hundreds of millions into these Final Fantasy games, expecting similar or bigger returns, and they're not getting their money's worth. Titles like Monster Hunter and Persona have stepped up their game in the recent years, selling far better across multiple platforms. So Square Enix is not only fighting to keep up with its past success, but also competing with games that are now outselling the Final Fantasy series in some cases. This is why the expectations are so high. Square Enix is comparing their numbers to their own past successes and to these other RPG franchises. And right now, Final Fantasy is falling apart. It's falling short. It's not the big bad wolf that it used to be because of how everything is. Let's take Final Fantasy 16 as an example. It's one of the worst performing modern Final Fantasy games, especially when you compare it to success of Final Fantasy 7 Remake, Final Fantasy 15, or even the older titles like Final Fantasy 10. And that's despite having a huge launch and being part of a major franchise. We haven't seen major sales updates since it hit 3 million early on, and that's a red flag. Typically, when Final Fantasy games do well, Square Enix is quick to share updates. 5 million, 7 million, or even more. But with Final Fantasy 16, we've gotten radio silence. Radio killed the radio star. We've gotten very, very much radio silence when it comes to that. Same story with Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. This is a massive game with 4 years of development behind it. And yet, we've heard nothing about its sales numbers. Typically, if a game is doing well, companies are eager to share those numbers. So the fact that we're not hearing much suggestions that I even hit 3 million units yet, it's disturbing. It's quite disturbing. Again, it's not that these games aren't selling. They are, but not at the level that Square Enix needs them to be justified these massive investments. So what does it mean for Square Enix moving forward? They've learned that focusing too much on PlayStation exclusivity just doesn't look or work anymore. Moving forward, they're looking to multi-platform, including PC, Xbox, and especially Nintendo. We already know the Nintendo Switch 2 is on the horizon, and Square Enix wants to ensure their big titles can reach as many players as possible. That's why I think the next few Final Fantasy games, like Final Fantasy 17 or whatever comes next, will release on multiple platforms at once, day and date, for day one releases. The PlayStation exclusivity model just isn't enough to make up for the investment anymore. It just isn't. PlayStation 5, in a general, when it first popped up, you couldn't even find a damn thing, let alone try to freaking get a PlayStation 5 Pro now with a disk drive or anything like that, because the console, PlayStation 5 Pro console, is going to be, it's, you know what, that's another topic for another video. But let's get back at this one. At the end of the day, Square Enix is making smart business moves. They're adjusting to the reality of today's market, and I'm confident that whatever comes next for Final Fantasy, they're going to learn from these challenges and deliver something very incredible that we've been waiting for the longest. Obviously, the conclusion of Final Fantasy VII Remake is definitely something that we are always looking forward to. Actually, I don't want it to end. I don't want it to end. They're going to learn from these challenges and deliver something incredible. Whether it's Final Fantasy 17 or another project, the next few years will be crucial for Square Enix at the end of the day. But all right, that's it for today's video. What do you think about Square Enix's current situation with Final Fantasy? Do you think they're bounced back? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and click the notification bell for more RPG news. I do also have an RPG channel, just in case you guys want to check it out. I'll leave it in the description below, where I play nothing but RPGs. I'm not playing RPGs on this main channel, but yeah, I'll be playing RPGs in that one. It's called Chaz Loves RPGs. And yes, I do. I fucking love RPGs. But until next time, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Stay blessed, stay humble. Peace out.